All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master. Today we're going to talk about my top 10 wish I bought them sooner tools. Important caveat in this list is everything is stuff that I bought personally, was not sent to by a manufacturer. So no Milwaukee, no Launch, no X-Tool, stuff like that. It's everything I bought. So let's get into it. All right, so the first one is a joke. It is a joke. North Star water pump socket is just one of those tools that you hope you never have to use because they suck. The pumps are always stuck like crazy. You usually break the tool. You're pissed. They just suck to do. But this one's just a joke. It's just to start us out, but that's not actually part of the list. Now, this tool is more about stuff I should have done when I was much younger, and that is PPE. I wish I'd bought knee pads a long time ago. I've been using knee pads for a long time, but I wish I had done it a long time ago, as well as hearing protection and actually used it. Now the little preachy part is out. Let's get into the tools. The next one is I wish I bought my picoscope sooner. Picoscope is one of those tools. Once you actually have access to one, it's hard to go back to like Snap-on. Now I've had a Snap-on back to the original Modus, so I'm very familiar with Snap-on scopes up to my current Edge. I wish I had spent the money and gotten a Pico a long time ago. It is such a very useful tool. Now I don't have the latest and the greatest because mine still works, and I don't need, a couple new features just to spend a couple $1,000s. But if you're on the fence about buying a picoscope, just do it. It literally, I wish I had one years earlier. I've had a scope a long time, but a picoscope is just the next level. Now, this next one is not about the specific model I have. I've got the Snap-on. It was really expensive. Don't recommend it. I recommend you go get a Pliers or something else. They kind of all use the same sensors, so don't feel like you have to get the one I've got because it's too expensive. And in fact, it's more expensive than I paid for it if it's the same model. But anyway, thermal imager. I use it a lot for like battery draws. When you scan a, fuse box and you can see the fuse that is lit up, that's where your draw is. I don't use it a whole lot for like wheel bearings and stuff like that. I find unless they're really bad, they cool down too quickly. I think the graphics where they use it, you could literally probably feel it. So I use it a lot for battery drains and that kind of stuff. So really, really wish I'd bought one earlier. Expensive as all get out. I understand. I spent the money on them. My Matco 1/4 inch impact sockets, swivels. Now these are expensive. There's just no way around it. They're expensive, but so worth it. I use these every day, and the 10 millimeter basically lives on my 1/4 inch Milwaukee ratchet. I use these sockets so much, and they are so much better than any of the pinned 1/4 inch. I have the ADV. I used the ADV for several years, which is Sunex. These are next level, and I really couldn't live without. Honestly, I wish I'd bought them instead of the ADV when I started out with 1/4 inch swivel. This next one is more of a category rather than a specific tool, but locking extensions. I was early to wobble extensions. I was very late to locking extensions. I use wobble extensions all the time, and they wear out. And you get that right angle, and then while you're pulling the extension out, your socket goes doink. Locking extensions with Matco swivels, you don't need the wobble in most cases. And not losing a $50 socket in the middle of nowhere engine compartment is really valuable. So I love locking extensions now. I use them almost exclusively. Wobble extensions really only get brought out when I'm using a deep well or semi-deep or something like that. 9 times out of 10, I'm grabbing a locking extension over a wobble extension. Now, this isn't the first kit I bought. The original kit I bought was the OTC hub grappler. I've since still own it, but I generally grab the Astro pneumatic version of it simply because it's more compact, easier to take to the bench. Then you've got all your adapters. And I've owned the hub grappler for over 10 years. And I wish I'd bought it when it first came out. Expensive as all get out, but it was one of those tools that I don't know how I lived without for as long as I lived without it. And honestly, wish the Astro was out before that, because the Astro is just awesome. Now, this kit is the kit I actually do own. I bought it from Matco, but it's the same kit. Front probes. Being able to front probe without spreading terminals is just a complete game changer for a lot of testing. I love back probes. I love piercing probes, but being able to front probe sometimes comes in really, really handy for certain situations. And I really, really wish I'd had this kit a long time before I bought my current kit. So, like I said, go buy the kit from AES Wave. But this kit is something I don't want to live without. Now, this next one, I have the Gear Wrench X-Core extended swivels, and I wish I'd bought the original snap-ons. Not because I think the snap-on version's better, but they've been out for a lot longer than the Gear Wrench. I bought into this tool set late, bought the individual tools from Snap-on, and then bought the kit from Gear Wrench. But they were available for a lot longer than that, and I wish I'd bought them way earlier. They're a go-to set. And honestly, the 11 millimeter, anytime I do a steering rack, is almost always pulled out for the steering rack bolt because it's almost always 11 millimeter. So, all right, next one is my Megadora open-ended wrenches. I bought these because a coworker of mine had a similar set of a different brand, and I thought they were a really good idea. Bought the Megadora, have used the absolute crap out of them ever since. Wish I'd bought them way sooner because they're used that often. Simple kit, they're not really expensive, and they're great wrenches. Now, the last one is a good breakout box. Now, I bought a crappy one initially at a Snap-on event. Wish I'd gone out and bought the OTC one. Now, I have this version. I have been sponsored in the past by OTC. They did not send me one. I bought it. Having a good breakout box is invaluable for communication problems. So easy to hook up. Know you've got a good connection. Not worrying about back probes falling out. Knowing you have a good connection and knowing that the problem is currently present on your scope is invaluable. It's something I wish I'd bought years before I bought mine. So I hope you enjoyed the top 10 tools I wish I'd bought sooner. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.